In today's episode, we'll be talking about the Meyer-Crothers and Mitch Miller situation with the Coyotes, and of course, no body checking in the OHL? Hit the music. Welcome to Jablam Sports Hockey, folks. I'm your host, Peter and the mic is always on. You can find me on Twitter at Russia98. You can find the full show at Jablam Sports. If you have any questions or comments, please tweet us. Use the hashtag Jablam Sports. That's JABLAM Sports. Please subscribe to us if you haven't done so yet, and click on the three dots in your podcasting app. Share our show with three hockey fans you know. Thank you, everyone. Remember, check out our website, go to jablamsports.com, see all our podcasts, and even game notes for each episode. You'll get links to all the things we mentioned on this show, including guests. For our podcasts, click on podcasts, and then hockey on this show specifically right on our website. Time for the last episode of the season? Maybe.
Question mark?
Yeah. Well, welcome back to the show, Logan.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you always for your help. I know you've been helping me for a couple years, and it's been great having you on the show.
You're always welcome.
Quite frequently this season. Man, how are things going with you?
I can't complain. Back to sitting, but hopefully for not too long. There's a bit more structure to it, so a little less unknown. But I can't complain.
So as people know that do listen to our podcast, you do work in television and predominantly in sports in the background there. What is there on tap in terms of anything going on in television sports world for the next, I don't know, at least 2 months, right?
Not much. At the very least, there is stuff to watch on TV. There's some football. There's, I guess that's about it. There's the European soccer, I guess, too. I don't watch too much of that, but there's a little bit of stuff going on.
Yeah, there is some stuff. I know, speaking for myself, I do enjoy a lot of sports, but all the sports that I enjoy as a Canadian from the GTA, everything's gone quiet. Everything's silent now. We're all in the off season. That's kind of where this podcast is going. It looks like we're going to be going into an off season. I will be doing maybe the random episode in the off season, maybe an episode a month or two, depending on crazy topics happening. And of course, they'll drop on Wednesdays as per usual. But I'm a hockey fan. I like tennis. I like other sports. I'm not a big NFL fan, right?
I like NFL. I do like the athleticism. Everything is peak performance, top performance. I was reading something about who was it? There's a quarterback in NFL spends like $1 million a year just on keeping in shape. That's with like personal trainers, chefs, and that's how he stays in tip-top shape. I forget who it was, but like that's a lot of money just to pay people to play, essentially.
Oh my goodness! I wish I just had like $25 a week or whatever to pay for a trainer for 30 minutes. You know?
Yeah. Let alone your own personal trainer $1 million, or his salary or her salary, I guess.
Oh my goodness, that's ridiculous. It just blows my mind. Some of these athletes. So we will be getting to the Mitch Miller situation. It's going to be tough to talk about. We're going to go into it a little bit. Of course, also OHL and no body checking when they do come back. We'll talk about that. And two things I want to kind of go over is everything going on with 2020. At the end of the episode, me and Logan will be giving to our favorite moment or something that we did like about 2020. And before we get into everything, we're going to talk about what was hard for us, or what we didn't like, or what moment in 2020 that was hard for us. For myself, I think everybody knows, with everything going on in the world. For myself, it's obviously my dad. I'm glad he's still here, knocking on wood. But it was tough. It was tough on me, tough on my family, our friends, and especially for, of course, my dad. But he survived. He had a quintuple bypass. It was tough sledding for a while, and with everything going on, it was even tougher. Didn't get to see him for 2 months. Even beforehand, it was tough. And you know what? But he's doing well. He's doing great, and I want to thank everybody who's given me their blessings on social media and families and friends. Thank you so much for that. Even my neighbors, it was great. They were giving us, even when my dad recovered too, they brought over some food and stuff. So that was really sweet of them.
Good neighbors.
Yes. For Logan, what's been tough for you so far this year?
Just a lot of the unknown. Like, I remember we worked at Wednesday night hockey. It was Oilers versus somebody. NBA shut down that night. I did another gig on the Thursday, kind of talking about how the NHL was shutting down, and then went home and there was nothing for months. That was the first couple of days. You're like, all right, we'll see what happens. Just waiting for information, and then after the week, and then the month, and then another month, you're just like, who knows what's going to happen? Mm-hmm. So you're just waiting for anything to break, or you're just waiting for it to get worse, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. It's tough, and we don't know where the resolution is. But we hope there is some sunshine at the end of this stormy weather that we're all going through.
Mm-hmm.
All right, time for some tough topics. But again, what I do like to do on Twitter, and I know sometimes it's hard to talk about, but of course, sometimes it's good when there's some happy polls. But we do have some polls on the Twitter account. Check them out. I did one a few days ago, and I kind of wanted to just go off this one again, speaking about everything about 2020 and Halloween costumes, and how some people like to, go a little bit off the edge with some 2020 costumes and for Halloween. And I put the 3 options, which would be the worst Halloween costume to wear. And what were they again? Number 1 was Rudy Gobert, and of course from the NBA. Number 2 was Killorn from the Tampa Bay Lightning. And number 3 was Turner from the Dodgers. So we all kind of know why they're on the list. Logan, did you vote on one of them? Which one did you pick?
I picked Turner. I didn't know what Killorn had done, actually. I wasn't sure what the connection... Well, I figured what the connection was. I just didn't know what Killorn had done to get in there.
Yeah.
So that was...
Okay, well, if you didn't hear too much about it, was right after Tampa Bay won, they had a parade, which all the other places they hadn't. They did which I thought was a pretty cool idea. They had a jet ski in the river kind of parade. So and that's great. They're utilizing Tampa Bay. They have the nice river down there by what's the arena called? The Amalie Arena now. First thing that came into my head was St. Pete Times Forum, but yes, Amalie Arena. And it was great. I thought it was pretty cool. But after they had speeches and people were not really socially distancing. I think they were trying their best, but it's hard to do. And Killorn, and again, when you have a few drinks in you, you don't give a hoot. And Killorn, who's a Harvard grad, I don't know why I threw that in there, but I thought I had to. But he decided to just go all off and thank the mayor for opening up all the bars so we can all party together with all this going on. Thank you very much.
I had forgot about that. I did know about that, but I guess in my head that wasn't as egregious as the other two.
Yes.
Was it him that there was a bunch of people drinking out of the cup too at a party?
Yeah.
Which was okay.
Yeah. So he added a little bit more to it, and I don't know what buildings they were in after, and the fans were just on the railings and stuff like that. But man, and you know what? Going back to Gobert, obviously didn't know what he had, and he's just mocking the situation. That was difficult. And, of course, with Turner, I'm guessing security tried their best, but at the end, they're like, what are we going to do, you know?
I don't even know if they tried their best. It all sounds like they just waited for the commissioner to turn his back, and all of a sudden he's on the field, and it's like, I'm still confused as to how he was on the field to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
If you test positive once, you don't put him out there to see if he gets a negative the second time around. You're supposed to just take him out. But
yeah, there's a lot of question marks to that story that we didn't really get answers to, which we'll just leave it at that. But in my mind, I would like to throw this in fans' faces, and I like to do this because I'm not trying to be a troll or anything. But if, say, your favorite team and your favorite player fought his whole life to win a championship, and this is the only time in their entire life, and maybe he will, maybe he won't, we don't know, they win it, it's tough sledding for you to just go to your hotel room and watch as your entire team and the camaraderie, your brothers enjoying this moment that you've all been waiting so hard to enjoy, celebrating.
Yeah,
and it's and I am on your side, saying I would be one of those people that'd be like, okay, I gotta go to the hotel room, Zoom me in this party, do whatever you can. I'm planning Zoom parties with my buddies these days, and some of them they're like, you're a nerd, you're this, and I'm like, I don't care. I gotta protect myself. I gotta protect my family. I'm very sorry if you think I'm a nerd, but this is what I gotta do. Same thing when it comes to this. I would be in that same boat, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel with. He should be wearing the mask, but
yep.
Man.
I sit here and I can blame him for going on onto the field, but if I'm in his shoes, I'm the same way. I think I want to be on that field with everybody. If I'm his teammate, I think I don't want him there. That was the other part of that. So I can be completely hypocritical on this point. Like you said, you play all that time to get to that final game. And not only that, he was in there for 6 to 8 innings. Mm-hmm. I've heard conflicting reports of he was out in the 6th or the 7th or the 8th.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden get pulled for that last few innings before they win. It's like, yeah, how do you keep a guy like that off the field? Like after they win?
Yeah.
How do you keep them out of that team photo when they're holding the championship after they just won, right?
How do you let them just celebrate there sitting right next to the manager of the team who's much older and might not be as, immune?
Well, and he's out there on the field with a lot of the kids were out there. Like the teammates brought their kids out there, right? Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, you just hope it's not another super spreader. So.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll find out, I guess, in a month.
Sad but true. All right. So, Mitch Miller was drafted by the Arizona Coyotes in the 4th round of the NHL draft. We already know the history with the Coyotes and the general manager just quitting on them as they get into the bubble. We do know that they screwed up some situation in terms of losing some picks, and now they've lost another one. They did they have any picks in these playoffs? In this draft? I don't know. I'm guessing they had one in the 7th. Man, did they go? They really stank it up.
Yes.
So going to the Miller situation. So as we know, 4 years ago, Miller admitted in Ohio juvenile court to bullying Meyer-Crothers, who was tricked into licking a candy push pop, and another boy had wiped in the bathroom urinal. Of course, he was tested, and tests came back negative. He was also constantly taunted, calling him different things like brownie, the N-word, repeatedly. Man, it's tough to read this. Like I'm gonna be posting all the stuff as per usual on Game Notes, especially the AZ Central one that kind of dropped the first story on this important situation that we're all kind of all knowing about now, and of course it's been out there for almost a week now. So since then, of course, we know that the Coyotes have given up that pick, and they're not taking Miller, and now the University of North Dakota, I believe, right, is where he was going to.
UND, University of North Dakota, yeah.
Yeah, so they've said that he cannot play hockey, which means he can still attend school, he can still go there, but now there are rumors that he's going to the KHL. So, you know what? And I can go on, and I was thinking about doing it, but it's just odd because the CEO and the president, they came out, Gutierrez came out about wanting diversity and inclusion for the organization, but them not doing enough back-end story, which they did because they asked after the GM, and of course it's tough for him because he came from St. Louis. I think it was Armstrong as assistant, and now he's there, and he doesn't know exactly who they have on their draft lists with everything going on, and it's tough. And you know what? Just going back to the draft and everything that were going on with this pandemic, they are not getting a good Q&A and a one-on-one basis with all these players right now, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. They're doing it, over Zoom chats. They're doing it. There's some kind of degree of separation where you don't, I guess sometimes when you sit down with a kid, you can see a body language, you can see fidgeting, you can see tendencies maybe. On a Zoom chat, you maybe lose a little bit of that.
Yeah, you sure do. And I think that would have maybe pushed him further down the depth charts in terms of drafting. Maybe less teams would have been looking into him. We do know there was a red flag for many teams.
Yes.
So they totally decided to not pick him. Of course, the rumors were, and not even just rumors from Central Scouting, they had him early in the third round to be going. But again, Team USA let him on the team. UND brought him into their school. They knew of the background. They believed that he was fine. They were fine, and he's progressed. I know for the Coyotes, they released a statement right after that it's a story of reflection and growth and community impact. A true leader finds ways for every person to contribute to the solution. We all need to be part of the solution. So they thought that they were helping the situation, that they were, confronting bullying and racism. But I find this awkward that a person that was the bully and being racist is being used as a person as in a leadership potential to speak a part of that as a spokesperson for that situation, where in my opinion that should be on the Crothers, right? He should be the person that should be a person who is a spokesperson for this kind of situation.
Well, I can see how, if you were going to bring on Mitchell Miller and have him talk about his experiences as a bully and how he's changed and done these things, how you can do these things differently. But the thing is, he didn't actually change. He was still bullying this kid 2 years after his conviction.
Yep.
He was still doing a lot of these things. I think he had said to the teams, he'd sent out a letter to every team, and he said he had apologized to the family. Their family had come back and said, no, he has absolutely not done that. So at this point, it just sounds like he's making up his own story, which is making up his own fantasy, even of just trying to get into the NHL and make some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure does. And it sure does seem like that. It seems like he's trying to appease the bosses of his future bosses for a potential job situation, and in doing so,
at that time he had never been turned down from a draft yet either. Like you said, UND had taken him, USA had taken him, Sarnia Sting had taken him in the high 60s or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else had drafted him, whatever junior programs they had going on. Like he was been playing hockey this entire time. They'd all known this past, but had chosen to ignore it, or thought he plays better than he could be a better person or something like that. I don't quite buy that one, but
so in my mind, and again, like going back to his mother's statements for Crothers, she said that he was bullying him for 2 more years. That's tough to swallow, and with everything disgusting, like they said in the video, which they weren't allowed to show, of course, because, and maybe that's why he pleaded guilty. That him smashing Crothers' head against the wall. Yeah, man. So where does this put a 14-year-old? Why is he doing this? And in my mind, that's on the parents. That's on the people around him. Why are you allowing this? How are you raising this child? Are you supporting him? Are you making sure he's taking the right steps after a disgusting behavior that's continuing time and time again? Are you supporting this? Or are you showing him how to change these behaviors? And that's where I'm seeing the fault in this.
That's a lot of the comments I had seen as well, is that where were after the conviction, you'd think the parents would be all over this, trying to get him on a straighter or narrower path. He obviously had some kind of hockey talent, like try to make him focus on that and not the bullying aspect, or not the just trying to make him into a better person as he's growing up. But throughout all of this, it didn't seem like it was there. Or maybe the kid, or maybe he's, and I hate to say this about a 17 or 18, or maybe he's just an asshole. I don't know. Like some people are just assholes. You cannot change. But
yeah. And we all know of all the different stories with all the other different athletes, and we do see a lot of them change over time. And sometimes we've seen them act like a-holes at the age of 21, at the age of 23, and this is a much younger age, and they do change. But that's where you need to be set up to grow and to be better with the individuals around you. So I do implore for anybody going through anything, and I hope for Miller's situation and for others, that you find people that will support you in the right behaviors.
Yes.
I put the poll as per usual, and for this situation too, the options, and it was pretty much spread out between he should play in the NHL. People think he should. Okay, sure, good for you. The other one was to play lower level than the NHL, to go to abuse, like an abuse program, and then maybe the NHL, or to never play professional sports. I'm very mixed. I do think that if he's done the right steps in terms of apologizing and improving his behavior, I think he should get a chance to play NHL. He just does need to show many good signs that he's done and what he has done to improve himself.
Yeah, I agree as well. You're allowed to have a second chance, possibly third and fourth chance even, but you have to work for those chances. They aren't just given automatically.
All right, moving on to a little bit lesser topic that's harder to talk about, and that's Lisa MacLeod talking about, as of course, she is the Ontario's Minister of Heritage, Sports and Tourism and Culture for Ontario here. And of course, for the OHL, she's decided that there will be no body checking when the Ontario Hockey League resumes, and it seems like that will be, February 7th, I believe?
Yes. Or 4th. There's something starting on the 4th, but that could be AHL.
Yeah.
Early February, probably, for what I was thinking for OHL.
Yes. So, of course, Dreger said that tweeted. Sources, no official decision on it for sure. It does seem like there is, though. But Lisa McLeod said that they are working on a safe return. And I saw in a clip that she was saying that she's not she's not getting a lot of support even in her own household right now. And she shouldn't be. Damn it, she shouldn't be. Come on. This is ridiculous, is it not? I don't know. I find this a little bit extreme.
It is, but I swear this comes up every now and then where there shouldn't be hitting in the OHL anyways. And make it a more skilled league. So this is just a more... I don't think this is the member of parliament or whatever her official title is, her way of sneaking this in there. I think this is... I don't know if it's a legitimate concern, but it is a concern, or it should be a concern. So this is the government addressing that before someone else points fingers at them for not doing due diligence. But
I know even Doug Ford, he even tweeted saying, "We are engaged with the OHL hockey to create a safe return to plan, and which will need to be approved by health experts. No decision has been made. I would like to see OHL return as normal as possible with body checking." And I do know a lot of people are looking into it and going, all right, so the kids are going from teams from city to city together as a big unit on the bus. They're sitting next to each other on the bus. All right, then when they're done their shift on the ice, they're breathing heavily on the bench. And if they're not body checking, what are they doing? Are they grinding in the corner for the puck and their faces are against each other even tighter than a body check, which would be bam and then kind of bust apart? I don't know. I just feel that this is kind of like, what? Does Lisa McLeod follow hockey? Does she know like what's going on in the different parts of hockey? I don't know.
Yeah, there's going to be clutching and grabbing in the corners. With someone, you're going to get someone's going to two-hand somebody else, and they're going to get in each other's face, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to start. There's going to be yelling, face-offs. Even you got to take a face-off next to facing a guy every 5 minutes or every 2 minutes. Like, yeah, it does seem a bit ridiculous, but
I don't know. I think it's a little crazy. When sports do return, and hopefully this podcast will follow suit, we will be continuing the podcast a little bit on and off, but it won't be until whenever the return to play is. Hopefully soon. Logan, do you have a little tidbit for us? What's the rumors you're hearing when hockey does return?
I haven't been at work for a while, so I got no rumor. It's just whoever's tweeting about AHL was starting out in February. I was hoping that they would start out in December. Yeah. OHL, I was hoping would do the same thing, start up in December, January. Everyone seems to be following the suit of February. Mm-hmm. I think someone tweeted out today that the NHL is looking at a 48-game season.
That's new.
Do no less than 48. Everything else I'd heard up to this point had been entirely full season. So.
Yeah. I'm on the boat that the further it pushes back, I see no way it's going to be 82.
No.
And I know on the agreement that they made with the players, they're basically getting the full like salary type thing no matter what. So they obviously, the NHL is like, we got to get these guys playing as much games as possible. So let's get the season on a roll. So I don't know. I really don't think they're going to be shortening that too much if they do. But I'll be surprised they do return later than mid-February. But it might be. It's going to be interesting. I'm hearing NBA might be coming a lot sooner, though.
Yeah, I heard January 1st, and then someone had tweeted out Martin Luther King Day, which is in December 19th. I'm not entirely positive.
January, but maybe 19th.
Is it January 19th?
I think so.
I think someone said December, but
yeah. So we'll see. We'll talk more about that. I know for the poll for body checking, though, going back to that on Twitter, a lot more people don't want to see body checking removed, including myself. Again, if they feel that this is a big issue, maybe they shouldn't come back at all. Like, I mean, I'm having it's a bit of a dilemma in terms of they're like all these leagues are trying to come back, but if the fans aren't there and everything, the profit loss is like a lot worse too. With bringing it back, the TV ratings still won't be as good. They will be better, in my opinion. I feel that they'll be better because people will be thirstier than watching basketball and hockey in the summer, especially hockey. It's a weird sport to be watching in the summer, so I'm feeling that the ratings will go back closer, not exactly the same, but will be better. But you're getting much less dollars and cents without fans in the seats.
Yeah. I do remember hearing something about it would cost their teams, for at least NHL, might be saving money by not having the season, essentially, because you may be paying some players, but you're not paying front office salaries or like scout salaries even. I don't think they have a great deal with these teams. They probably get paid nice, but there's no guarantees for a lot of these things. So, and if you're not going to have fans anyways, and you're not paying arena people or vendors or all that kind of stuff, so you might actually save some money by not having a season. But then you don't get, how does it work? Something about players would lose that year, or they don't lose that year. If they're getting paid, I think they lose the year on that player. So who knows?
Yeah, it's a lot of question marks. And so I hope you enjoyed this 5th season unofficially ending in this episode. We will come back periodically over the next 2 months, of course, Wednesdays. So check that out. Please, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe, rate, and review our podcasts on wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Google Play, or wherever you go. And please click on the 3 dots in your podcasting app and share this episode with 3 friends that you know. You can go to our website, jablamsports.com, see all our podcasts and all our episodes. And of course, all the game notes, all the stuff we talked about in this episode. There's good articles on the Crothers and Miller situation. And of course, the poll. So follow us on our Twitter at Jablam Sports. You can follow me personally at Russia98. Logan, where can they follow you?
At Hoagie99.
So you can follow him there. And before we go, I did say 2020, what was a good moment or situation that you thought about for 2020, Logan? I know it's hard. It's hard. This is much harder to find a good moment in this year.
I guess when everything was back to quote unquote normal, hockey was playing, basketball was on, baseball was on, football was coming back, everyone was slightly back to work. I think it was summertime. There was just everything was nice.
Yeah. It was nice. It was just nice. It's a little bit of everything. Nice.
Yeah.
For myself, that's one thing I did want to mention was with all the sport, I kind of enjoyed it. Like, it was just like sports bonanza exploding in my mind. It was just like, oh my God, it was like 24/7 and it's all gone now. Oh my goodness. It was so exciting for a bit. And it was weird because then I was actually working a fair bit too. Now I'm not. Now I'm in school. So that's keeping me up all night. But man, that was wild and it was interesting and it was very different. And it was so many teams, and it was because of everything going on. I kind of enjoyed it a little bit more because it was very different in the originality of how everything was going on, and that leads to my other things that I liked about 2020 was the podcast and all the great guests we've had on this season. Thank you all for coming and joining me. It was great having Sabalski, Dennis Bernstein, and every single one of you. I can't mention everybody, but thank you for joining me on the podcast this season, helping me and supporting me, all you family and friends as well. And Logan, my shout out to you for helping me and supporting me on the podcast once again.
Oh, you are very welcome.
Do you have a shout out? Do you want to give a little shout out?
No. Do you? I can shout you out on your own podcast. You can continue doing what you're doing. It is good. It's great.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. And of course, to every single one of our listeners, I'm giving you a virtual hug. Stay healthy, listen, be yourself, and stay strong.